Hey guys, welcome back. Just a few minutes later, episode 41. So what we're going to do now is trying to just explore the possibility of reaching new Cuyama as part of the first CAT rating on PilotEdge. They've just renewed these the V ratings. There were 3, now there are 11 VFR CAT ratings. And currently, as you can see already here on Oceano, we've got VMC going. So the whole consideration today is, can we even safely reach new Cuyama Lima 88, even though it's one of the first basic non-towered to non-towered flights. So that's going to be interesting. It's a new dimension, makes the flight a bit more challenging, I think. Let me just very quickly bring up the ForeFlight here. So this is going to be the flight, as you can see here to the left, Oceano, to the right, new Cuyama, Lima 88. It's in between, it's in a valley, as you can see, to the north and to the south you can see mountains. Here on Oceano you can see already, looking at the flight categories near the coast, we've got VMC, even some IMC here on this Vandenberg military airport. So yeah, not really a great obvious day to get flying, but here on Flight Simulation it's very, very educational to see what kind of considerations come into play, to even see if we can reach new Cuyama. So what I'm suggesting today, I'm not sure whether we can actually reach the airport, but we're going to try, and we're going to fly to the east. This particular leg, because here around Oceano the weather is just fine. These are broken, scattered, but I think now it's broken layer around 2,000 or 2,500 feet. And just go to the east to see whether the terrain here or this valley still gives us enough room to pass through this valley and reach new Cuyama. That's going to be the idea, which is not the most safe way to do things, but well, pretty exciting, and we might also learn a thing or two. So that is going to be the flight of today, the very first CAT rating. I'm really, really excited. I'm really hoping that we're going to reach that destination airport and get a pass on that first CAT rating. Guys, I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.
So the first thing that we need to do actually is file a flight plan, because now this is a non-towered to a non-towered airport. Previously with the V ratings, we just sign into A2C with the controllers that say, hey, we like to do our V1 or our V2 or our I1 or whatever. And then the controllers would just make a note in their controlling system PilotEdge server way, and that's it. And they file whether you passed the V rating and put it on the PilotEdge website. Well, here now we're flying on a non-towered to a non-towered airport, so there's no controller. And also, as of today, or currently, it's here in the morning here in Amsterdam. PilotEdge isn't online. The controllers aren't online, so we need to file a flight plan to let the PilotEdge controllers know, or the controllers know that we are planning to do this particular flight, and also the system can read out whether we actually have reached new Cuyama airport. So that's how we're going to do it. Hey Ben, welcome on board. That's going to be the very first thing that we're going to do, file a flight plan. Now I could do that with the PilotEdge PA client here, but I'm going to do that with the iPad so you guys can see also what I'm doing. So switch PA flight plan, here we are. So this is the page. You can also do this if you're on X-Plane, you can do this just from within X-Plane. I could also use the client here, but I'm going to use the web page instead. So first off, left top corner, VFR, that's right, marginal VFR. Aircraft identification, that is Papa, Hotel, Tango, India, Mike. We have a Cessna 172. If you guys can see this, you can. What kind of equipment do we have on board? We've got Alpha. So we only have DME, a transponder mode C, and don't have any GPS. There's a nice table online. You can also look it up on the PilotEdge forum what kind of equipment you have on board, which is quite interesting. True airspeed is going to be around 100 knots. It's usual for the Skyhawk. Ooh, that's a fireman. Passing by. Departure airport, that's Lima 52, that's Oceano. Arriving airport is going to be Lima 88, New Cuyama. Cruising altitude. Good one. Let me have a quick look at ForeFlight once more. So chances are pretty low to the terrain because we have that cloud ceiling. We've got that cloud base. Hey Sealer, thank you for your luck wishes. And yeah, I'm hoping to reach New Cuyama and also pass for our first CAT rating. So cruise altitude. So yeah, we're going to stick very low to the terrain to see if we can actually reach or get into this valley and head to the airport. So let's pick a cruising altitude. Let's see, this is around 2,000 feet, I guess. Do we see some other terrain issues? 22, this New Cuyama is at 2,200. So also the terrain there is coming up. So it might be that we might even reach the valley, but in the second leg when we go to New Cuyama, over here there might still be a cloud layer there. Perhaps not, because there's a cloud range here, or a mountain, some mountains here to the south that might push the cloud base, that marginal VMC, keep it there, keep it stationary here to the coast side. So it might even be the case that we've got clear skies on New Cuyama. We don't have any METARs there, so it's going to be interesting. Steeler, fire on the hangars. Yeah, no, unluckily, luckily here in Oceano, we're fine. Okay, so stick low to the ground. I would say 2,000 feet would be just fine. So let's file for 2,500. We don't need to stick to VFR altitudes here because that only applies when you're flying 3,000 feet AGL or above. So let's just say 2,500 feet. Back to that web page. Oh, it's reloading. My gosh. Okay, once more. Papa Hotel Tango India Mike. Cessna 172. We've got slant alpha. True airspeed is going to be 100 knots. Departure airport Lima 52. Oceano 52. Arriving airport is going to be Lima 88. Cruising altitude is going to be 2,500. Alternate airport is going to be, well, we don't really need one actually. Remarks. Don't need to put that in, but I'm just going to CAT-01. Let me see, VFR, PHTIM, Papa Hotel Tango Mike, Cessna 172, Slant Alpha, 100 knots, L52, Lima 88, 2,500, and that's it. File flight plan, hit. Boom, flight plan filed successfully, haha. Okay, it's going to be interesting. Hey, Real Vincent, welcome on board. Okay, so that's that. So it's now official. We're going to do our CAT rating, or even attempt to do our CAT rating. I mean, here's some AI traffic here on Oceano. So, flight planning wise, what are we going to do? We're going to depart 29 because the winds are coming from the ocean as usual, and we're going to do a left downwind departure. That makes sense because that brings us toward the direction that we need to go to, right? So that is what we're going to do, and then I guess our first point, I mean, we need to, no, let me have a closer look. Yeah, so here's the valley. That's the entry that we need to use. If you're just going to go straight, no, that's not what I would like to do. I would just like to pick up this point. Yeah. So if we would go just straight in, we have this terrain over here, right? So that doesn't make sense. So rather we should go like this and head into that valley and head to the airport. Also, as a backup plan, we also have got a Fellows VOR over here that we can use to make sure that we're on the right track. So we could also fly inbound to Fellows. That might just bring us to the right direction, as you can see from Oceano. Inbound to Fellows, and hopefully then we might see the terrain and this valley and we head out to new Cuyama. So what we could do is perhaps use DME and just say, well, if we are 10 nautical miles, what was it? Yeah, around 10 nautical miles, we should be near the entry of that valley on our DME. 10 nautical miles. Before in terminal, we make a right turn, and that's a heading of around 107. And what we can do, I saw Keith doing this in one of his workshops from the CAT ratings. He also used this fellow VOR once more and picked, for example, this outbound Victor airway here, 129. So he knows that that the airport is coming up. So then when we fly this particular leg, we reset the OBS and wait until the needle is in the center again, because then we know that we are around this particular, well, where the 10 is located right now here on the map, very near the airport, and so we need to make sure that we can spot the runway. Well, what's the runway heading? It's 28, so it's very similar to Oceano. We can actually do a straight in, but that's not really preferred, and a non-towered airport is much better to first have a look to see whether there's other traffic in the pattern, also traffic that isn't transmitting on the CTAF. That might be the case as well. And the AI traffic on PilotEdge doesn't transmit on the CTAF, and so usually there is traffic with no that is not on the CTAF. So that's why it's very important to have a close look first. So I don't see any. Oh, I do see a new Cuyama. You can see RP 10. So the runway 10 straight in, if we would do that, would require a right pattern. But I guess then 28, because it's not depicted there, is just a left hand. So that means that we can easily just go like this and enter the left downwind for 28, like so, and then go base and then go final. Right? That's the idea. Or what's even better, but then it depends again on the terrain here, but it's because the terrain is going up. And considering the cloud base, well, we have to see. We could also go a little bit more to the south and enter the 40-degree left downwind. That's the standard procedure, which is more safe rather than just flying straight into to left downwind. So rather going from this, right? That's a bit better. Frequency 122.9. That's CTAF, and that's that. I think that's a nice way. So we use radio navigation, and first it could be, guys, it could be that if we're going to fly this direction, we might see that around here the cloud base interferes with the terrain, and we cannot reach or cannot continue our flight and make our second leg here, and we just need to return to Oceano, and we need to try another day. I'm only flying with real world live weather, and currently you can see it's bad weather, so hey, that's live. I'd like to consider or incorporate that decision making in my flights here on the Uncertified Pilot channel. So that's how it is. Hey, Real Vincent, welcome. So that is going to be our flight. Anything else that we need to consider? No, I don't think so. I think that the engine is still warm. We can just do the reset cabin very quickly, get the engine going, and depart. So interesting. I'm excited, guys. The first CAT rating. Okay, away with the ForeFlight. I hear it sounds like there's a continuous flap getting stuck or something like that. Hey, Mike, welcome, and thank you for following. But I think that's part of the AI. It's a very annoying sound. It seems like a flap lever is continuously being used. Let's have a look at this departure. Again, the clouds, as you can see, very nice textures by Active Sky 2016 and Cloud Art. A Mooney. Nice. Gears going up. Okay. So, enough of sightseeing and airplane spotting. First up, now Looper, this is not explained, this is prepared. Lockheed Martin's prepared, version 3.4 currently, and it is current. Yeah, reset cabin. So, control wheel lock removed. Check whether my Saitek panel here is in sync, also virtually, and it is going down. Parker brakes are set. Fire extinguisher, life vest, oxygen, we pretend that we have those. Doors closed, window is closed, ELT is set to auto. Cabin air is open, heat is not. Flaps are up and they are up. Levers, they still work. Alternate static air is pushed in. Then the cutoff is also in. Fuel tank set to both. Trim, does it work? It works. Transponder, hey, why is it still on? I didn't turn that off before we shut down the avionics last time. Not a big thing, but yeah. Usually it's better practice, especially in a towered airport, to first turn off your transponder off. Because now, also that's why we're doing this reset cabin check, so we can reset it to off. But there are cases, I believe, I don't know if it was the case with the Airfall Labs in X-Plane, that if you turned off the avionics and turn it on again, it remembered the previous squawk code of the previous flight. And so suddenly, if you haven't checked that this thing is off, that the transponder is off, and it's on mode C already, you suddenly, when you turn on your avionics and you're still busy tuning everything, it's already transmitting on an old squawk code, that squawk code that might interfere with someone else, which is bad practice. It's not a good way to do things. So that's why it's important to check whether it's off. But I believe in A2A here, which simulates the real thing, this is the actual Bendix behavior, it doesn't remember the squawk code, so it always reverts to 1200, but I don't know for sure. But it's good to know that it is off. This stuff is all on, which is good, and nothing that we need to check here. Circuit breakers are all in, so that's good. Reset the cabin. Then flight controls, down, up, up. Elevators work. Let's check the trim tab. Yep, it's working, and the rudders are working, and I accidentally pressed my brakes, so reset the parking brakes. Then we're going to turn on the batteries. We're not going to check the lights. I will, because we just flown a few minutes ago. I believe they are working. Hey Derp, you deserve a bigger audience. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that comment. Well, you can bring in a lot more passengers by spreading the word on Twitter or on Facebook or whatever. Also, follow me here on Twitch to get an instant notification when I'm flying. I really like the presence of you guys, and not only just to educate you or share at least the things that I'm learning, but mostly to attract as many experienced or even real-world pilots that can teach me and suggest me ways of how I can improve my flying. I learned so much from you guys, especially from episode 1 now up to episode 41. It's so nice to see how knowledgeable our community is. So I'm not only doing this for myself and just showing you my flying experience, but mostly just to get as many passengers on board that can teach me how to improve my flying, because that's the goal, the mission of the Uncertified Pilot here. Thank you for hosting, man. Thanks. And thank you for following, Gamey. Welcome on board. Missed you. Okay, so I'm not going to check that exterior stuff. That's also quite usual, actually, in the real world, that when you do your exterior pre-flight, especially in flight schools, well, in flight school with student pilots, you need to obviously rehearse and practice doing an exterior pre-flight. But for example, for sightseeing or other businesses on an airport, they usually just do the exterior pre-flight in the morning, and that's it. So we're going to do that too. Chances are nothing is broken, nothing is damaged the airplane overnight or something like that. Overtime in the previous minutes. Okay, so batteries are on. We're going to skip that. Thank you for following Beardman forever. Thank you. Welcome on board. Yeah, that's dangerous, because now I need to skip a part of my checklist, which is not good. Lights, pitot, lights, pitot heat. Yeah, so avionics master on. Yeah, so we return in the cockpit then. Yeah, first off, avionics on. We hear a beep. Autopilot's fully illuminated, so that's good. We move on here. Flaps down. See if they go down in sync. And go fully down. Seems like they do. Like the sound set of the A2A. Never gets boring. Okay, then we move up. Thank you for following, Derp. Thank you. Much appreciated. Go to the test mode. I could see 1200 was already set. So apparently it resets, which makes sense. The transponder works. Back to off. This is we're going to tune that very, very soon. Annunciator panel fully illuminated. All the lights work, and we only got oil pressure vacuum. And that's okay, and a volt reading because the engine is not running. So that is good. Okay, then clock, nothing that we need to reset there. We've got enough fuel, at least that's what I think. I didn't really explicitly mention that, but I would expect this would be just fine. But let's just have a quick look at ForeFlight to see what ForeFlight is telling us. Also considering the winds, flight plan. It's a 49 nautical mile flight. We need about 10 gallons, including taxi and takeoff. 27 minutes, wind aloft included 9 knots tailwind. Also, if you've seen the previous episode, we did a weather briefing, and we looked at the current weather conditions, especially because we've got marginal VMC on our hands here, and we already saw in the weather charts that we currently today have winds going to the east, which is quite usual here. Coming from the ocean. Anyhow, so that's good. What else did I need to check? I thought I needed to check something, but I totally forgot. Dangerous. I forgot my flow. Where am I? Avionics, DME, autopilot. Oh yeah, the fuel. That's what I was checking. So enough fuel. We've got about estimated 10 gallons. So that's plenty. We've got plenty on board. I'm a little bit in front of that gauge, but whoop, there it is. We've got enough. You can see the oil temperature is still in the green. That's because we just finished our previous flight. So that means there's still also some fuel in the engine, so we don't need to prime. If we do prime the engine, use the fuel pump, we flood the engine. So that's why we not need to do that. And I need to keep my TrackIR on. Sorry, guys. Circuit breakers are all in. That's all good. So we checked the interior system. Batteries are off. Then we should have done our exterior pre-flight. We're going to skip that because I believe that is just fine. So no need to visit the maintenance hangar. We are going to start with the before engine start checklist right away. So first off, fasten our seatbelts. Fastened. And our doors are closed. Let me reset my viewpoint here. Yeah, that seems to be just fine. Okay. Briefing. So that's what I just did, I believe. Oceano. Left downwind departure. So like this. Then we're gonna pick up on that inbound radial that we're going to set very soon when we have power and the engine is running, around 10 nautical miles before Fellows. Yep, confirmed. We're going to make that right turn to 110, heading over to New Cuyama, and we can also use this outbound radial 129 of Fellows to make sure that we are alert and waiting to see New Cuyama. If in case cloud base is too low, considering the terrain around here, I will make a decision to go back. Even though I'm very excited to complete my CAT rating, that is unsafe, even in flight simulation terms. And then we just head back to Oceano and land. In case the weather worsens on Oceano and we turn back and we cannot spot Oceano anymore, because that can also be the case, we also have some alternate airports over here. We can go to Santa Maria, for example. In the real world, then, now these airports are closed, but we are flying in daytime because, well, I like to see some scenery. That would also be an advantage because then we have tower controllers who can then give us vectors inbound to land, or there might be an ILS or something like that. So that would be a good alternate as well. Okay, you steal a bird's nest in front of your radiators. Yeah, that could be the case. And meanwhile, in these 10 minutes, that there might be a bird that has just nested in the engine, but chances are that is not the case. Still, it's running a risk, but yeah, I think that risk is very, very marginal. So that concludes our briefing. Guys, are you sitting comfortably? Seatbelts, fastened, you have a drink, something to eat because we're going to fly, and you cannot leave this airplane anymore until we hopefully reach New Cuyama. So that's that. Then what I would like to test is the brakes to see if they feel firm, and they feel firm. We just pretend that they are actually working. I can only feel the firmness with my rudder pillar here, which doesn't change at all. Parking brakes are set, and fuel tanks are set to both. Let's start our engines. Batteries on. We don't need to prime the engine, right? It's still warm, as you can see. Oil temperature is still in the green. So that's that. No one is walking around the engine, so clear prop. Or it does need some priming. No, it needs some priming, I guess. It's been a bit too long, I believe. Okay, no, there's no chances of that the engine is already flooded. So I think there still needs to be a very little amount of fuel into the engine. Let's try. So, priming the engine. Whoop. 1, something like that, very short, not that 3 or 4 seconds. Let's try again. Throttle is in. There it goes. Just barely. 1200. Engine is running, oil pressure is coming up. That's good. Alternator on. Lean for ground. Ground there, reset to 1000. Flaps up, avionics on, and our virtual headphones on. That's better. Okay, good. You can see the battery is charging. I'd like to see my yoke, virtual yoke. Okay, transponder then. Mode C, verify 1200. And it is, and we're gonna set our frequencies. So first COM radio on Oceano here is 122.7. That is already set, obviously. And as soon as we're going to take off, we're going to go to that next CTF frequency of new Cuyama, which is 122.9. Nothing really exciting going on over there. We will going to tune in to ATIS, San Luis up north, which might be a little bit different, but let's just do that anyway. Different weather conditions over there. 120.6 is already set in the COM too. Yeah, let's have a listen.
San Luis Airport Information Alpha 1603 Zulu. Wind 086 at frequency. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky condition ceiling 2500 overcast. Temperature 19er 2.16. Altimeter 3001. ILS runway 11 in use. Landing and departing runway 11. VFR aircraft.
Okay, so we've got we got a cloud layer on 2500 overcast, which is fine for here locally because we don't have much terrain. Have to see whether that is too low if we're gonna fly into that valley over there. We'll just have to see. Otherwise, we have a nice trip and some sightseeing to do. Right? So that's the whole idea. Okay, frequency set. Fellows 117.5, so COM of nav 1 117.5. That is tuned in right now. What is going to be the inbound radial? Well, if we're going to go to that valley, that's going to be something. Come on, up 77. So I'm going to put that in here. Or 77. Something like that. Okay, already got a 2 reading. Fellows is already tuned in here. You can see a 2 reading, so that's good. What we could do, just to make our lives a bit easier, is not to tune into that outbound radial here once we have passed that particular fix that we set here on the entry of the valley, but put fellows also in the nav 2 and set this particular radial in. That might be well, it just removes another item that we need to do during our flight. So let's do that. 117.5 on the nav 2. 117.5. That's also tuned in. We should get a reading as well. Well, we've got a reading. But then we need another inbound, right? This is around, well, we could use that vector airway 129. 129. Sealer, is this the right time around the west coast? No, it isn't. I've set my own time here. I'd like to fly by day just to enjoy the scenery, but now currently here in Oceania, I think it's would be totally night, totally black, and then with a marginal VMC that would be quite challenging and nothing anyone would do, I guess, in the real world. So we're just using daytime flying for now. I will fly in the night in one future episodes. I've got my own training program that is based on the PilotEdge ratings on CertifiedPilot.com, which I would also like to do some long haul flights from Nelm Tower to Nelm Tower by night. I've already done a few, but I'd like to do a couple more of those and just archive those, log those on the air in my logbook online on CertifiedPilot.com, kind of like also practicing that stuff, because I think that's really really important and exciting to do. Okay, so that's checked. I think that's a better plan, using the nav2 as well. Okay, that's what we did in terms of frequencies, and that's all that we need. Then we move on. Frequency set. These are set. OBSs are set. Altimeter is set. Heading indicator confirms with the magnetic compass. We still got fuel. Reset our fuel point here. Oil pressure is good, and lights are also all set, so that's good as well. So we're ready to taxi. We're going to taxi here to the left, cross midfield, and go to 29 because winds are coming from the ocean most probably, and then left base all around here, and then we move on. That's just what we're going to do. Okay, guys, let's go. Parking brakes released. Testing the brakes. Thank you, Derp, for hosting. Making that turn to the left. Seeing the slip indicator, turn indicator work, and the heading indicator, attitude indicator is stable. No one on final there on 29. Oceania traffic, Sky Hotel Tango, and your mic is taxiing to 29. We're going to cross midfield, Oceania. Krynonom, or couldn't read. Thank you. Welcome on board. Hope you enjoy and stick around. No one is on final here, no one is on the runway. A little bit more speed. Some other guys are considering to fly as well here on Oceano. Also a nice spot to park. Oceano traffic, Sky Hotel Tango, your mic is clear, only 29. Continuing to taxiing to 29 here. Oceano. AI in front of us. No, let's keep a more pace going with taxiing. In the previous episode, it was going a little bit too slow. So around 900 RPM is a nice setting to increase speed, and around something like this will keep us at a steady pace. Nice distance away from that airplane in front of us, that Mooney. He or she may go first. Sealer, VFR by night seems to be very difficult, I guess. Yeah, it will be. But very interesting. Also in terms of visuals, what kind of visual reference points you're then going to use. And it's much more IMC or IFR-like. But it's good practice. Some blue skies in between. Seems like broken, not overcast. I mean, we read the ATIS, but that was the ATIS from San Luis up north, so it might be overcast over there, but not over here. Again, you can see AI traffic here is has been recorded on X-plane, and those taxiways and airports are not really in line with what we see here in Prepared. So let me just go like this and do our run up over here. Okay, back to 1000. Let's see, engine is warm as you can see, oil temperatures are good, and that is our requirement, main requirement for doing our power check. Mixture full in, fuel tanks are set to both, going to 1800. No annunciator messages, oil pressure stable, everything seems to look just fine. Left mag looks good, back to both. Right seems to, no, well, it seems to be a little bit fouled, so let's check, or let's remove that stuff. So full throttle around 2000. Let's lean until we see the RPM or hear the engine getting a little bit rough. Something like this. Keep it in here for just a few seconds to burn off that fouling on the spark plugs, at least on the right mags. And meanwhile, the Mooney can depart. In terms of briefing, left downwind departure. So we're going to go here and over to that direction, hoping that the cloud layer works out, guys, with the terrain. Still a few seconds more. Okay, let's check. Full mixture. Back to 1800. And left mag. Small drop, that's good. Back to both. Right mag. Yeah, that seems to be just fine. So apparently, even in between one flight that we just did a couple of hours before, or an hour ago, the engine was already fouled up again. So perhaps I'm not leaning too much. Should lean more aggressively. I'm dreaming. Idle. No uninitiated messages. Oil pressure is still in the green. Everything seems to look just fine. Again, we can check the landing lights here to see if there's a small dip here and if the battery is actually charging. It does. We are already and set. Trim is set. Fuel tanks to both. Mixture full in. Transponder. Everything is set. Landing lights on. Strobe lights on. Okay. Let's go, guys. That's our briefing. Okay. No one on final. The other guy has took off already. Oceana traffic, Sky Hotel Tango, India Mike is departing runway 29 for a left downwind departure. Oceana. He's flying to the right. That Mooney. Mixture full in. Lights are on. Here we go. Full power. Engine is still in the green. A little bit of right rudder there. Dancing on the rudder pedals. Airspeed is alive. 40, 50. And 60. Rotate. Goodbye, Oceano. Ah, another PilotEdge pilot there. .200 feet. A little bit too much nose up. Need to keep that speed around 75. A little bit nose down. The beach. Coming up to 500 feet AGL, so that's our turning mark. Oceana traffic, Sky Hotel Tango, India Mike is turning left base runway 29. Oceana. There we go. Hey, Scubajack, B-Jack, welcome on board. Still cloud base is looking good. There comes the heading bug for base. There we are. And also there's coming 1000 feet, our traffic pattern altitude. Allowing that speed to increase. Let's get out of here. Oceana traffic, Sky Hotel Tango, India Mike is turning left base, runway 29 for a departure to the east. Oceana. Okay, we can reset the RPM now. And there we are on downwind. Whoa, 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 that's too much. Fuel flow is in the green. A little bit of nose down trim here because I'm really pushing on that yoke. We're leaving a little bit of right rudder. Come on, keep on that traffic pattern altitude. There's Oceano. Gorgeous scenery, nice textures. And we can already see here the radial that we like to catch. Should make a left turn, but we're not going to because then we're going to obviously cross the final leg here of Oceano, which is not a good thing yet. A little bit less RPM. Some scenery loading in the background, I guess. Okay, good. So let's continue our climb to around 1500, so at least we're above traffic pattern altitude. But as you can see already, looking at these clouds and the terrain, guys, I have a bad feeling about this. Yes, Jack, I agree. The scenery looks great. It's global, it's vector, it's OpenLC of North America, and it's Southern California region. Oh, a little bit more power there. Turn off my landing lights now. Still, because we're in a little bit more of a high power setting. Well, not really a high power setting, so we can already start to lean a bit. EGT is already nicely high up, so that's good. Making that turn to the left. Trying to catch that radial. We're far away from Oceano. No other traffic on the CTAF frequency here. 1500 feet. It's still quite near the ground, near the terrain. At least on this side. So I'm continuing my climb a bit. We can just pick whatever altitude we like. Still need to look up those minimum... there's traffic ahead. That's the Mooney, I think. But I think we'll be fine. But again, you can see the consideration of not crossing that final leg here on Oceano. Whoa! And suddenly you are in VIMC. Okay. Well, first thing I'm going to do is make a right turn. Even though I know that traffic is over the right, it's already crossed us. And I know that VMC is behind us. So it's very obvious to make that right turn. And there it dissipates. What disappoints me though is that there wasn't really a clear indication of any cloud being there. Right? So even though Active Sky 2016 is advertised for subtle weather changes. No, this is bad stuff, guys. Look at this. This is not going to be a successful flight to New Cuyama. Let's make a right turn and head back to the ocean. Bummer. Not going too steep down. There we are. But it kind of surprises me because you can clearly see that these clouds are much more high up. Keith from the heavens, help us, Steeler. Yeah, remember that episode? Unfortunately, I don't know if you can do that also on prepared, or for pilots flying on prepared. Okay, so unfortunately, we're not going to reach our destination airport, even though the cloud ceiling looks fine. There's some visibility issue. I mean, what we could do is just enjoy the scenery here and fly a little bit here to the left, see how far we can go this side. Perhaps that visibility issue arises because of the METAR of San Luis up to the north, and not so much here to the south. So let's just check. A little bit more creative. Nice sceneries, huh? Wow. Nice textures. Also see some light in the distance over there. Southeast, I guess that's the other Santa Maria airport. Let me just check here on iPad. Yeah, that would be Santa Maria. So we cannot go too much to that side, otherwise we might bust that airspace. So we could go a little bit more to the left here. We cannot go in between because also there's some restricted area here to the south, restricted area 2516. Let's make a left turn here. Let's see if we can... Oh, a little bit more. There's not a coordinated turn, by the way. Whoa. head over to this direction. But I think we're gonna fly into the same soup once more. There's the coast and there's Oceano. Let's see what happens. Let's just stick to 1500. We know that the weather is okay here. Engine is running just fine. Nice speed. But I expect that the weather is too bad for us to make that trip to Lima 88. Which is not that surprising, but still, I would have loved to visit the airport and do our CAT rating. Or finish our CAT rating. And as you can see, I really like the consideration of weather in flying, especially as a private pilot, VFR pilot. Weather is such an important factor in terms of navigation, of flight planning. So rather than just to reset your weather to clear skies, which I could do in just a few clicks, it wouldn't be that educational and that informative. 35 souls on board. Guys, welcome. For those who are new to the Uncertified Pilot channel, it's all about getting as close to an instrument rating in Flight Simulator as I possibly can. Which still leaves me a lot of room for learning. I'm just now only trying to get visual rated, VFR rated. Some scenery loading over here, traffic in front of us here on top. Still, the weather hasn't turned out to be too bad here. So I might be right that the bad weather is to the north at San Luis, but not here on Oceano. Let's see how far we can make it here. Santa Maria to the right. Anyhow, that's what the channel is about, getting as close to an instrument rating. So there are also many I ratings in PilotEdge that I'd like to pass for. And then finally, once I feel that I've done all of those and done all the fun stuff there, I'm going to start with my real world flight training. And then see how quickly I can attain my private pilot license on the basis of this flight simulation experience. And I would expect very quickly. Okay, still got that radial to the left of us, far left of us. But I'm hesitant to make that left turn because of that bad weather. Also, when we need to divert, because of bad weather and that bad visibility comes in, let's make it turn to the left and not to the right, because we got that airport to the right of us. And we would not like to bust that airspace, even though officially now Santa Maria is closed. Currently now here in this area it would be night. I set it to daytime because we can enjoy the scenery. So it wouldn't be a problem if we would overfly the airport right now just on CTAF. But nice scenery, guys. Look at this, the trees. Nicely placed. Very interesting. See some terrain over that side, to the left. Now this is the mountain stuff that we actually will not like to cross, right? Because then we need to fly up and we'll eventually reach the cloud. So I guess the valley should be somewhere over there. DME is reading 22.8 nautical miles from Fellow, so we still have some way to go. But if we stick to this side of this mountain stuff, we're never going to cross over and get into the valley where the new Cuyama is. So let's see how far we can go. It's getting dangerous right now because obviously when we reach these hills and we are over there and we got bad visibility and we need to make a 360, do we have space to do that? If not, we need to go through the clouds, and we've seen in the weather briefing in the previous episode that these cloud layers are not that thick. But hey, that wouldn't be a good procedure. So I'm currently now as a real-world pilot, I would never done this or even try to explore this. As you can see, bad weather. Bummer! Left turn. Stay on altitude. Standard rate turn. Oh, a little bit nose up. Unfortunately, the definitive answer is we're not going to reach our destination airport. And also in the real world, I would have never attempted to go this far. Although in the real world, you could just see the weather, right? This is a little bit weird that suddenly that visibility comes in. Also discovered a few days ago, quite late into the game. Oh, bummer. Let me go a little bit lower here. I discovered Rex Force 3D, which is going to be the next evolution of Rex Texture Direct 4, and it looked so nice. Hey, seems like a private airport over here. Really, really pretty cloud textures. Let me see, is it a private airport? I don't see it on the map. Don't know, but it seems like a private airport. And it's a grass, I guess. Shall we just do a quick touch and go here? Just for fun's sakes. Let's just do that. Private airport. It's going to be a soft field landing, which is new to me actually. Rather than landing on a paved runway. So what we need to do there is take very much care of our nose wheel and land as slow as possible, then on the main gear as usual, but then trying to keep the nose wheel from the ground until the very last moment and taxi with the yoke fully pulled towards us. Some cars over there. So that we put as little weight on the nose wheel as possible. Interesting. Okay, Scubajack, got confirmation that you guys would like to see me land here too. Well, let's have an let's attempt to do that. So again, winds probably coming from the right here, from the ocean. So I'm going to circle around. Also good with these private airports. I guess you need to phone ahead. Make sure, man, there's a lot of scenery loading here. That you are allowed to land on that airfield because it's a private airport. I guess in terms of an emergency, you are legally allowed to land there, but then you need to be able to show that it's actually an emergency landing. No frequencies of a private airport. Let's go full mixture. Landing lights on. And let's reduce our speed. I have no idea what the direction is of the runway. Reduce speed. And let's go to a traffic pattern altitude. This would be fine. Let's align ourselves with the runway, something like this. I think this would be something. I give her a little bit lower than traffic pattern altitude right now. First notch of flaps. Keep some power in. Push a bit on that yoke. A little bit more power. There we are. It's going to be a full flap landing, as slow as possible, and it's really, really important that our nose wheel does not touch the runway until the very end of that roll, landing roll, because it's a soft field, and when the front wheel, the nose wheel, hits the runway with those speeds, you get so many bumps that it can actually damage the nose wheel quite easily. Watch that speed. Let's do that with a pitch, not with power. There we go. For base. Less power over there. No idea what the direction of the runway is. Have a closer look. Where is it? Where is it? What's our speed doing? There it is. It's hard to see. Another notch of flaps. Again, speed 75 is fine. I mean, you're constantly scanning outside, inside, outside, inside. It's the speed. I'm pushing on the yoke, so nose down trim. And there we go. There we go. A little bit too high. A little bit of nose up trim here. And less throttle. Less. Okay. Once you have made the field, that means if you've got an engine out, but you could still reach the airfield, not really the runway, but the airfield, then you can go full flaps, which would be in our case right about here. Now let's remove all speed here. There we go. Okay. Whew. Soft field landing. Slow, steady, and we need to keep our nose up. A little bit more nose up trim. Really pulling on that yoke. There we go. There we go. There we go. Not too slow. And nose up. Away with the flow. Ah, that's too much. Too much. Too much. Too much. Keep that nose up. Keep that nose up. Keep that nose up. Keep that nose up. 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 Keep it up. And I guess we're already with the nose down. No. You should replay. Once we landed here. Okay. Well, there we are, guys. I have no idea where we landed. Still pulling on that yoke to keep that nose wheel up as much as possible. Well, it's on the ground, but it relieves some pressure. Some cars over there, some people watching, obviously enjoying the uncertified pilot. Hello, everyone. And a dog. Nice. Even on a private airport, ORBX puts some props in. Okay. Keep my mixture full in here. Okay, let's just park over here and have a quick replay. Because I'm curious to see whether I actually did it correctly. I felt like my nose wheel was up, but perhaps I just touched down with all the three wheels at the same time. Let me just keep this engine warm. Around 1,000. Let's lean anyway. A little bit more, something like this. Yoke doesn't matter now. And Parker brakes set. Got enough gallons here. Just a quick visit here. Nice. Instant replay. Where was it? Analysis. Instant replay. How many seconds ago? I should like to see a slider. 300 seconds ago. It's too much? It's too much, but wait. Just have a look. Height. Menu. And I would like to see from the outside. Whoa. Okay. Hasmania, PS4 pilot, welcome on board. Any suggestions for career choice? Well, I'm not really that much knowledgeable of any pilot aviation career. But one suggestion I can make is start with flight simulation. Get yourself prepared, get yourself A2A simulations. Join the community of flight simmers here on the Uncertified Pilot or on PilotEdge. You should also buy in on PilotEdge. And then you're ready to go. The Papa Hotel, Tango, India Mike. Okay, so I'm on downwind right now, I think. Gonna make that turn cannot manage to adjust these cameras. Should set some EZDOK cameras here. Never done that before. Now, come on, make that turn. There we go. Such a nice airplane. Yeah. Yeah, I want a flight sim, but they are expensive. I guess it's worth it. Yeah, it's pretty much, but it's really worth it if you, well, get some third-party software that that really elevates the realism, your flight simulation realism, like A2A and PilotEdge. You save eventually a lot of money, I guess, especially when you're doing your IFR instrument rating. I mean, still there's another dimension to flying here, like really controlling the engine and the pressures and the wind, and the really developing feel for handling a Cessna in real life, and that kind of force feedback is not here included in Flight Sim. So obviously that will be something new also for me when I would start my flight training in the real world. But all the intellectual stuff, flight planning, chatting with ATC, instrument scans, weight and balance, all that stuff you can already do at home perfectly fine, and it's highly recommended. Okay guys, let's see if my nose wheel is still up, not touching the ground at touchdown point. Here I go. Nose up. That was probably... No. Well, it was, but it was already here just a second later. Still, it's not too bad, I guess. Look at how those the undercarriage is moving along the terrain contours. Interesting. Okay, escape. No, I'd like to disable that. Back into the cockpit. Okay. Yeah, I think what went wrong here, I had a good speed, but the runway was a little bit sloped already. I felt like I was already tilted, but I should have been tilted much more. I did see that I touched my main wheels first, but it should be it could have been a little bit more aggressive there. Not bad. Now let's do a soft field takeoff. Follows the same rule. Yoke to the back, so elevate that or alleviate that pressure on the nose wheel. And as soon as we pick up speed during the takeoff roll, we can remove that yoke correction until we eventually take off. That's the idea. Okay, so landing lights are still on, strobe lights are on, engine is still warm, so we are fine. We could taxi all the way around, but I guess winds are calm. 3 knots I heard on the ATIS, so not a problem at all. We don't have any AI traffic here. Oh yeah. Pull on that yoke. Guys, thank you for watching here. Doggy, have a good day. Here we go. Okay, keep that. Also, it's also good practice to keep the engine running, or keep the aircraft running, not stopping, because that mixture full in can get the aircraft stuck. Full power, still full pulling on the yoke. There goes the nose wheel. Oh, keep it. No, I don't want to fly yet, but I would like to have my nose wheel up. A little bit risky there. I feel like a cowboy. But I think the principle came across. Should practice this a little bit more. Pick up that speed. Not climbing too fast. A little bit nose down here. No, that could be more subtle. Yeah, so I could have already removed a bit of that yoke pulling while I was gaining speed. Turn to the left, turn to the right. I would say to the right because of the terrain there. Although of noise avoidance here, I could have made a left turn. There we go. Just could already reduce power so that our fuel flow is in the green. Thousand feet. Although I guess AGL wise we're not. Okay. Goodbye private airports. Nice. It was a nice visit. What else can we do? I mean, we will not reach Lima 88 today because of bad weather, so we should get our fun in other ways. Okay, reduce RPM to around 2200. A little bit nose up. Okay. And landing lights off. Cool. But very, very nice textures by ORBX here. A little bit more nose up. It's also fun, perhaps, as an intellectual exercise, perhaps today, to rehearse an engine out. So in case we would have an engine out right now, where would we land? As you can see here, textures. See that there are power lines here. Well, they're not depicted here as actual scenery objects, but that's something that you need to look out for. Also the kind of terrain. So I guess the terrain here in front of us is more like swamp-like, I guess. So I would pick something like this terrain that has been used for farming. You need to pick the right direction. So preferably we would land in this direction because that's a headwind. Can go as slow as possible. So near a road would also be fine. So I would pick something like here. For example, this field would be good. These are too many roads, I guess. Something like that. Also, I wrote that down on my iPad too as part of my checks. We don't need to go too much to the south here because there's a restricted area to the south here. Anyway, as part of my checks or my stickies or the things that I need to improve on, thank you for following Stormflyer. Thank you. Welcome on board. Is rejected takeoff checks. That should also be a sticky note that I should add here on my panel. The stuff that I need to improve on. Also should review many of these sticky notes. Some I've already nailed, I believe. But the idea that before your takeoff, you should also brief your rejected takeoff procedures. So in case you got an engine out on the taxi, on the runway, or just after takeoff, or at 1,000 feet or whatever. Sharbex, welcome. Thank you for following, guys. Reduce speed a bit. Need to be 500 feet below the clouds as VFR pilots. Thank you, Guyver. Thank you, guys. Thank you for following. Much appreciated. Now, Oceana's over there. We're still tuned in. 1 to 2.7, right? Just make sure that that's correct. 1 to 2.7, yeah, that's correct. And as you can see here, which is also interesting, on the map, you can see to the south of Oceano a bluish other area, as you can see, with all those dots on here. Those are also noise sensitive areas, and I believe that is where that condor, no, not really, that condor message refers to. but it's in the airport facility directory. That's an kind of oh, here you can see it, wildlife refuge. Something that you should avoid flying over. There are actually many of those areas nearby. You can see also, looking at the textures, that it seems more like a nature park way. Something that we need to avoid. There's Oceano. Let's do a call. And let's do just one additional traffic pattern there. So we announce a touch and go. Turn on our landing lights. Ocean traffic, Skyhawk, Pop Hotel Tango, India Mike is about 4 miles south of the airport at 1,500 inbound for a touch and go, landing runway 29, Oceano. Now usually I rehearse the entire thing that I would like to say, but now I know the flow of what I like to say. So while I'm already saying Oceano traffic, this is Skyhawk, that's just completely by memory. Obviously. And while I'm saying that, I'm already looking at my compass and I'm already looking at my altimeter, and so I can just input that information when I need it. And these announcements are quite, I'm quite familiar with these, but I guess when I'm doing my flight following and all that stuff, I do need a scratch pad. Mixture in, speed below 100, so first notch of flaps. We should have actually entered downwind, so I'm now entering on the base. I also did not include it in my announcement, which is an incomplete announcement. So it's nice to know for the other parts that I'm inbound, but how am I going to enter the traffic pattern? Thank you for following, Heli Joe. Welcome on board. So let's do that now. It's going to be a straight in, or it's going to be a left base, but yeah, it seems more like a straight in. Also no other traffic here in the area, that other Mooney. Oceano traffic, Skyhawk, Papa Hotel Tango, India Mike is turning final runway 29 for a touch and go, Oceano. Less power. Usually RPM is around 1500 for the arrival, for the descent. A little bit less even. Hey Stormy Flyer, welcome on board. Didn't catch you yet. And there we are. Still a little bit too fast. Oceano traffic, Sky Pop Hotel Tango India Mike is on long final runway 29 for a touch and go, Oceano. Nice scenery. Very nice. And unfortunately, this is going to be our destination airport rather than finishing our CAT-01 rating because of bad weather. But still, I have to admit that all that consideration, all that exploring, all that flight planning really adds to my flight simulator enjoyment. Even though we couldn't finish our flight, considering all that stuff is really, really interesting, I believe. We're too fast. I like to be around 70, 75 knots. And that's also because we didn't put in our second notch of flaps. There we are. Okay, so now I'm noticing I'm still pulling on that yoke. So again, during descent here, nose up trim. That's alright. That's a nice speed here. 65. Going a little bit too fast down. Nose up. There we go. Nice. Okay. Once more. Need to go slow. I'm not going to go full flaps this time. Try to focus on the far end of the runway. That helps you visually to see what your flare is doing. Here we go. Okay, throttle back. Nose up. Nose up. Whoa. Nah, not that good. Flaps up, full power. We're already at the end of the runway. You see we can reach this one. 50, 60, and there we go. Just in time. Allow that airspeed to increase. The beach. Oh, weather is clearing up, guys. At least near San Luis. 500 feet coming up, making our left turn. Oceana traffic, Sky Papa Del Tango Mike is turning left, crosswind, runway 29 for a full stop, Oceana. Keep that climb going. Nice ocean textures. There is our crosswind. Keep that climb going. Gallo, welcome on board, man. Are you ever flying Airbus? No. I really like these small GA aircraft. Make that left turn. Whoa, a little bit too much right rudder there, left rudder there. Oceano traffic, Sky Papa Del Tango Mike is turning left downwind, runway 29, full stop, Oceano. Reduce that power. Okay, we've extended our crosswind leg quite a bit, which was not that necessary. It's good to fly tight traffic patterns, and that's not just because of aesthetics, but in case of an engine out, you need to be close enough to the airport, to the runway, to make that recovery landing. So this is fine. Mooney, as you can see here at the threshold lines of 29. Hoping that one will be on its way as soon as we are on short final. 200 feet too high, Tim. I know this is a bit creepy, but I like how relaxing your stream is. Thank you, Haz. Although it doesn't feel that relaxing to me. I'm quite intensively concentrating. Oh, that's much too nose down. Thank you for following. Again, some hiccups here. So somehow here around Oceano, some scenery has been unloading or loading. Also too fast. I should have already put in one notch of flaps, so I'm behind my checks. First notch of flaps. Come on, Tim, concentrate. Yeah, can make the turn. No one is to the left of us. Oceana traffic, Sky Papa Del Tango Mike is turning left base, runway 29, full stop. Oceana. Good. More left rudder. I'm not that coordinated in my flights. Okay, no one's coming from the right on final. Second notch of flaps. Okay. Some terrain in front of us. Not too bad. There goes the speed. Pitch down. A little bit more RPM. There's the runway. Let's start our turn already. Now we need to pay attention to our airspeed. Too slow. Oceana traffic. Sky Papa Del Tango Mike is turning final, runway 29. Full stop, Oceana. Nice turn. A little bit steeper. That's a better speed. Too fast. Okay. Not too bad. Pulling on that yoke, so a little bit more nose up trim. Less power. Okay, we're on final. Short final. Hey Riley, thank you for your compliments and acknowledgements. I'm just using flight simulation in preparation of my real-world pilot training someday. But I have to admit, it's getting so realistic and fun to fly, also with you guys on stream, that, yeah, I will eventually get my real private license as well. And also looking forward to using VR, guys. I mean, I've got the PC for it, GTX 1080. Let me first concentrate here. Okay. Less power, less power, less power. A little bit nose up. Ease out that Yeah. Yeah, Tim. Not bad, but also not pretty. Flaps up. Pull on that yoke when you're below 45 knots or so, because otherwise you might just stall into the air again. Some manual braking here, not too much. And there we are on Oceano. Back, unfortunately, but hey, safe decision. Necessary decision. Oceano traffic. Sky Hotel takeaway mic is clear runway 29, Oceano. Behind the center, or behind the threshold line here. There we are. Reset. Then lights off, strobe lights off, mixture. And let's also open a window. There we are. Nice hangers. Don't need to refuel just yet. Another PilotEdge pilot over there. The Cessna on my spot. Let me go to the left here. And taxi all the way around. We can also inspect the Piper there and the mechanic. Hey guys, for those of you who are not following my channel yet, hit that follow button. It's much appreciated. Like just did. Thank you so much. Get an instant notification as soon as I fly. And it also shows me that you love the content, which is always good. Seems that we're very close bumping into other airplanes, but thank you for following, Gallo. Thanks. Okay, let's park over here. Very slow taxi speed. Controlled. Differential braking here. Get that nose in front. And there comes the line. Thank you for following, guys. Thanks. And there we are. Live Johnny. Thank you. Welcome on board. Okay, so then transponder off. Avionics off. Cut off. No fuel to the engine. The engine starts. Then the magnetos off. The sparks. Then the alternator off. Batteries off. Park and brake set. Control wheel lock. Thank you for following, Cool Breaker. Thanks. Welcome. Thank you, guys. I so much appreciate your follows. It's just minor things, but to me as a starting streamer, that really means a lot. Thank you. Door open. Okay, release our seatbelts and also put on, no, not this one, window. This window, pitot tube, cover the wheel chocks, and the tie downs I just leave as they are. Okay, back to Oceano. Oh man. Oh, a little bit of back problems. Yeah, that black gaming chair is very much appreciated very soon, because this is not the way to do things. Okay, so we're back at Oceano. Unfortunately, the weather was too bad. We saw some blue skies near San Luis, though. Yeah, that's nothing that we can use because we need to go to the east, all the way to New Cuyama. But unfortunately, the terrain interfered with our plans, or the clouds interfered with our plans, I should say. But that's just part of it. I really like that aeronautical decision making, using weather, incorporating it in your flight planning during flight. Also see when you hit IMC as a VFR pilot what you should do to resolve the issue, make a 180 turn, or climb through the cloud layer and that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed that dimension of flying as well, even though we didn't reach our destination airport. And I hope you do as well, and you appreciate the approach that I'm taking here to use flight simulation to also practice that kind of stuff. Anyhow, Guys, thank you so much for flying with me. 36 of you. Thank you so much. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for your follows. And I'm hoping to see you next time with episode 42. Now, as I already mentioned here near the coast, most of the time it is bad weather. Don't know if I have that other weather app here on my iPad. No, it doesn't seem like it. We could look at forecast weather here on my iPad. Let me first have a very quick look. Forecasts. What is the weather doing? Still in the bluish, you can see still marginal VFR. Red is IMC. And we are currently at 10 Zulu, looking at the left top corner of my screen there. Yeah, 10:37 Zulu. And it's the 15th, I guess. Yeah. So we're currently at 10, so 08 to 1200 Zulu is still marginal VFR, then 1700 Zulu is still marginal VFR, then at 2100 is getting IMC, and then the next day, the 16th, at 05 Zulu, the lowest entry there, still marginal VMC. So, yeah. But you also, and this is quite handy, just usual basic forecast apps. I only have those on my iPhone. I should put that on my iPad as well. What is the weather forecast for the upcoming week? Because, yeah, we can do these traffic patterns, which is fine and very much fun, actually. But eventually, I like to start with my CAT ratings and continue my flights. So, yeah. Oceano. No, this is San Luis. Well, doesn't really matter. Let me see. What are the conditions? The forecast is saying daily forecast. Boom. Yeah, so Saturday today and Sunday, rain, a lot of clouds, bad weather, no flying weather. Then Monday, it's already improving. See a sun and a cloud. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's clear skies. So that's good. So perhaps on Tuesday, my regular stream schedule there, my usual stream time, we're pretty sure that we have a window to get to Lima 88 and get our CAT rating going. So that's good. Okay, that's good to know. So once more, guys, thank you so much for being here. I really enjoyed this flight, even though we couldn't reach our destination airport. Did some fun, also soft field landings, which were totally new to me, which I should practice a little bit more. And I'm hoping to see all of you next time, episode 42. I'm hoping sooner than Tuesday, but we'll have to see here at the Uncertified Pilot. Guys, happy flights, blue skies, and hoping to see you next time.
Welcome to the Uncertified Pilot. I'm Tim, and this is my flight simulator.